We also have our first ever 1 hour trading competition. I'm excited to see how this turns out. I'll pull it up here on the screen. We have the Trade the News competition. So yeah, we have this one's going to be limited to 250 people. Unfortunately, if you're watching this and you haven't joined already, there's already 250 people in there. So that filled up pretty quick there, right, Trent?
Yeah, we posted it sort of as a pop-up. We wanted to test a few things yesterday, and one of those things was, hey, if we post a competition today, how quickly will people go and register for it? We're almost at 22,000 users in the system, and I'm happy to say within a couple hours, everybody had went and filled up this competition. So that's one of the things that we were testing. The other thing that we were testing was the news trading. One of the big features of BullRush is the fact that we are going to run these news competitions. A lot of prop firms, as everybody knows, doesn't allow you to trade the news. BullRush is very different. Where you're competing against other traders, we do want to allow people to come trade the news. So we're going to start hosting these more frequently now that we know that a lot of people are interested in this. So we plan on doing a lot of the red folder events. We base red folder off of Forex Factory. So if you ever see this red icon, we're going to start running a lot of competitions around these. Non-farm, CPI, some of the bigger ones that are around the world. And then the third is the shorter duration competitions. We find it very interesting where people can come in, compete for a half hour to go really test their skills and then go about their day. Everybody that has been trading for a long time knows that as soon as non-farm goes a couple hours later, the markets have just died and you're better off going to the pub and, having a beer versus sitting around and pissing away your day with the market. So we plan on, running these hour-long trading competitions around these news events. But yeah, I'm excited, Davin. Again, this Trade the News competition,
It's up.
the concept of this is we're going to start these a few minutes before the news event, just so everybody can get their trade set up, make sure that they are, have their news events, all of those things ready to go. And then once it goes off, we're going to let it go for an hour post news event. And so that gives everybody enough opportunity to go and really trade that volatility that typically happens around news. And so the news event today is non-farm payroll. For those that don't know what non-farm payroll is, it's the change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry, hence non-farm. And so this month it's projected at 147 is the forecast, with the prior being 142. It goes off in 7.5 minutes. So if you were one of the lucky 250 to get registered, make sure that you get your charts pulled up, get the products you want to trade.
I'm on trading economics.
Non-farm payrolls, actual 254.
254.
Wow.
Okay.
That explains a lot. Interesting. Forex Factory is really slow. That's good to know. Oh, there it came out. Yeah, 254. Wow, that is a massive beat.
Asked, what does that mean? 240 something. So I'm assuming he's talking about the non-farm payroll. Essentially, the non-farm payroll is the number of people employed in the United States, excluding farm workers. I believe it's also military, right? And there's some other people in there that are excluded. But essentially, it's the number of people employed in the United States.
Yep. Yeah, new jobs created. So
Yeah, sorry, new jobs.
There's 250,000 new jobs
Yeah.
created last month in the United States, which is really big. Think of all the stuff that's been going on in the economy lately, and then especially before political elections here. So every 4 years, we have the U.S. elections, and a lot of times you just see businesses pause because they don't know the outcome of that election. And so they don't want to take any unnecessary risks until they know who's going to be the next president, because as we know in the United States, we are a very polarized nation. And so depending on who gets in, there could be a massive shift inside of the economy. Historically, The Democrats believe in, giving the money back to the people, where Republicans tend to do the trickle down effect, where they think go and give it to big businesses ultimately spreads it out through the economy. And so it's very different opinions. I don't know which one's right or wrong. They're just very different. And so that's why a lot of businesses, pause before elections historically. So to see 254,000 come out is crazy, 2 months before the election. Nice. A
At-
little world news here while we're on topic. If you want to flip over the screen,
Yep.
and we have a ton of traders from South Africa. I think it makes up like 6 or 7% of our user base is from South Africa. But from Bloomberg, South Africa inflation target review to preserve price stability. Central bank currently targets an inflation range of 3 to 6, which is crazy. They're targeting 3 to 6 for you. The United States is 2%.
Wow.
So I'm curious how they come up with these targets. But South Africa annual inflation rate slowed to 4.4 in August, which is good. Your money's going to go a little bit further there with the South African rand.
Nice.
South Africa's ongoing review of the central bank's inflation target of 3 to 6% will be anchored in the principle of preserving price stability, said Deputy Finance Minister David Masando. Our macroeconomic policy intention is to make sure that we've got low and stable inflation. He told investors at an event in London on Friday, you don't want prices to be too volatile. You can't plan it in that economic environment. Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole goal of Federal Reserves around the world, is they're trying to have price stability for their economy, for their currencies, inflation at their target rate. Some of them do a better job than others.
Another little bit of interesting news here, since we're popping around world news. Let's go to the other side of the globe, over to Europe. The EU is slapping a 45% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicle imports.
Really? Does it say why? That's interesting.
Yeah. So the executive branch of the European Union chooses to stick with its plan to import duties despite the deep division within the bloc's members, including rejection of the proposal by leading economy and key car manufacturing center Germany. Let me see. Car manufacturers. So Brussels has argued that the higher tariffs are needed to combat what is perceived as unfair trade practices by China that could possess a threat to electric vehicle groups in Europe. However, the Commission said that it would continue to engage in Beijing negotiations, with Reuters reporting that one of the possible compromises could be set minimum sales prices. Yeah, it's very interesting. So I believe this is on all not just EU cars, but reading this, it's also on EU or electric vehicle cars and car parts. So this could, the reason Germany is against it looks like, is because, of course, we know all of the amazing German engineering coming out of there. Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, they have a lot of EV parts coming out of China that they use in their vehicles. And, of course, this would raise the prices of all of those vehicles.
Nice.
So
Yeah, Vlad made a comment in the YouTube live stream. They reject cheap and good cars made in China because at least some of the countries really love some brands.
yeah, I mean, Germany has a lot of brands, but like this article states, they're actually one of the countries, which I'm surprised on, that's against the tariff, and of course that's probably because of the car parts that are coming out of China, because of course if they add a tariff on the cars, they'll also add a tariff most likely on all the parts that those manufacturers are sending out as well.